Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So this video is going to be about the bodybuilder that I feel is one of the more underrated bodybuilders going into the upcoming Arnold Classic competitions. And by competitions, I mean 3. So Josh Lenartowicz recently announced on his Instagram that he's prepping currently for 3 Arnold Classic competitions: the Arnold Classic Ohio, the Arnold Classic Australia, and the Arnold Classic South America. Now, he would be one of the first bodybuilders to ever win 3 back-to-back if he were able to win that many. And I think that Josh is an extraordinarily dangerous competitor, especially in lineups like this, in a season like this, where there's a lot of guys missing. There's a lot of big names missing from a lot of these shows. You know, you have the absence of Rolly Winkler at the Arnold Classic Ohio. And, of course, the really big names right now, like the Brandon Currys, the Sean Rodens, the Phil Heaths, that are not at any of these Arnold Classics. Josh can be a really dangerous guy, and I'll tell you why. Josh is one of the more conditioned guys when he comes in really good shape. But not only that, but Josh is one of the bigger guys on stage. He has an extremely impressive and massive physique. And this seems to be a trend recently that you see with some of the bigger guys. They're really, really hit or miss with their conditioning. When he nails it, he really nails it, and he looks phenomenal. He's got that grainy, like really in-shape Dorian Yates look to his physique, because he's just got slabs of muscle on his frame. And when he conditions that, it looks very impressive, and it's very hard to beat. You know, some people might forget that earlier on in Josh's career, he was very successful as a pro bodybuilder. In 2015, he won the San Marino Pro. Then he went straight to the Lou Ferrigno Classic and won that show, so he won 2 pro shows back-to-back. Then his Arnold Classic Ohio debut back in 2016, he took 3rd. And the 2016 Arnold Classic was an extremely big Arnold Classic. It was actually one of the more competitive Arnolds in recent memory. You guys might remember in 2016, that was the year that Kai Green came back and won the Arnold Classic. Of course, Cedric McMillan controversially taking 2nd to Kai Green at that show. Josh Lenartowicz wound up in 3rd in that lineup, beating Justin Compton, Branch Warren, and Juan Morel, who were 4th through 6th at that competition. So he's very dangerous, and that was earlier on in his pro career. He was more of a rookie back in 2016 than he is now. And I feel like a lot of people, including myself, haven't been talking as much about Josh in this Arnold Classic lineup because it is such a crazy deep lineup. But I think Josh is a guy that can be very dangerous, and the fact that he's doing 3 Arnold Classics and currently prepping for 3, I think he has a shot at possibly winning at least one of them. And if you guys remember, if the 2016 Arnold Classic wasn't impressive enough, his first Olympia ever was also in 2016. At his Mr. Olympia debut, he placed 9th. So he was within the top 10, and that was the highest placed Olympia rookie at the time. And then, of course, as you guys know, Dallas McCarver passed away in 2017. And after Dallas's passing, him and Josh, they were good friends. Josh took a little bit of a hiatus from competitive bodybuilding, and we really didn't see him compete for almost 2 years, and then we had him compete at last year's Arnold Classic, where he didn't do as well as he was hoping to do, but it was his first show back. And now recently, of course, he had that tumor in his head, so he's been recovering from that, of course. So I think a lot of people have kind of written Josh off and kind of written him out of the conversation as a top 6 guy at the Arnold, Ohio. But I think what you're going to see, and I talked about this with Patrick Moore, so I think a lot of people were writing off Patrick going into this show and maybe not talking about him as much as they should be, because I think he's going to place very highly. I think Josh is another guy that might sneak up at this Arnold Classic Ohio, the Arnold Classic Australia, or the Arnold Classic Brazil, and possibly be a top 6, top 3 guy. Maybe not necessarily at the Arnold Ohio, because I think that lineup is going to be the most competitive of all the lineups. But I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you see Josh really in that mix of top guys at one of these Arnolds, because I think a lot of people forget that he was in that top 3. He was in that comparison with Kai Green and Cedric McMillan, arguably when Cedric was at, one of his best physiques ever, and Kai had a really good physique at that show too. So Josh has really been in that conversation before, and I think as he starts to get back into his groove and recovering fully from the things he's been going through and getting back into consistently competing, I think he could be really dangerous. And that's why I think the fact that he's doing 3 Arnolds could lend himself to, not only practice, but it would get him back into the groove of competing. Maybe the Arnold Classic Ohio, more of a warm-up show for him, more like to feel that he's getting his toes back in the water. Then he's got the Australia and the Brazil, and maybe he can figure out in between those 3 shows, where he really needs to be conditioning-wise and physique-wise to really nail whatever placing he wants, because all 3 of those lineups are going to be similar, so he knows how he's going to stack up after the Arnold, Ohio to the other guys in these lineups. So that wraps it up for the video today, guys. Let me know in the comment section below where you have Josh Lenartowicz placing specifically at the 2020 Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please give this video a thumbs up if you did in fact enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.